Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back for this Wednesday night for you all. How are you all? We have some good updates, some very good updates, as you can see in the title. Plus, I have other stories that we can talk about, other things that you may have not heard of, including a person in court today who decided to sing 99 bottles of beer on the wall during a sentencing hearing. Sounds very strange, but I will tell you about it. Good to see you. Hey, Gayla, Marilyn, retired RN Rachel, Marlene Clausen, Minnie's here, Mama Mia, Kathy Lynch. Who else? Wendy R, April B. Good to see you all. Good to see you. Somewhat feeling better. I don't know. Sort of, a little bit. Lindy, good to have you. By the way, that thing that happened yesterday, I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to embarrass anyone. But that thing that I said I would do after the show, um, that's been completed, and that particular item is on their way to that person. So thank you to the people who chipped in for that. And yeah, we were able to get that sent out. It's currently with Amazon. Supposed to be delivered like first thing in the morning. Uh, the morning tomorrow morning. Fortunately, we couldn't get same day delivery. It was like 2-day delivery or something, but that was the fastest one we could get. But it has been done. I think that's all that needs to be said about it. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to mention names or anything. I just wanted to give you the update because a few people did help with the cost of it. So, yes, so that person should be nice and warm, toasty warm tomorrow. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Lindy. All right. All right. Let's go to the title story because I love when we can do this. And it is a great pleasure when we actually get some good news. And they're saying here, hey guys, you have to deal with the Levi shirt again. Poor Ping has to do a whole bunch of washing. All my hoodies are all dirty. Yeah, so that girl we were talking about yesterday, it's sort of what I thought it was, right? I thought it was strange that the police hadn't done an alert, like a clear alert, or just some sort of more than a public appeal. It was very strange. Like there was no CCTV, there was no follow up, there was no car or anything. It was all a little odd. But it does say here, Sofia Martinez, 16, was safely located today and is now back home with her family. And if you don't remember that one, this is from Brownsville in Texas. It is a border town right on the Mexican border in Texas. And I was reading some stuff from her mum today. Her mum was saying that, yep, it is true. She is back home. They are overwhelmed to have their daughter back, and they are just, very thankful for the people who put her name out there and tried to raise awareness and things like that. So they are having a great day today that their daughter is back home. And yeah, good news, hey. Anytime we can get a missing person back home, that is ideal. What? Oh, sorry, I was trying to search for something. Yeah, Brownsville PD also put up an update. I'll show you. That's not it. That's not it. Yeah. So they did an update today. It's not. Come on. 8 hours ago. Sofia Martinez has been safely located and is now back home. No other details provided. But I think if we click her mum's here somewhere. Okay, it must be a different one. Her mum was commenting on one of them today. It might have been the one for the newspaper, saying thanks to people. But yeah, this girl, she had a intellectual disability, and they believe that she was at risk, being that she doesn't quite understand like a normal 16-year-old would. and they were worried that someone was taking advantage of her. But nope, that's that. Well, not that, not know that someone wasn't taking advantage of her, but yes, she's been found and she is back home. So yeah, it is good news. It is good news. Anytime we can have that happen, I'd rather do that story for you any day of the week. I heard you guys were talking about the Kentucky sheriff. Sean Mickey Steins. That investigation is getting very awful. Like you think you've heard it all before, and then you get another update about it. I don't know what that's going to end up as, but whatever was going on in that county, in that courtroom or judge's chamber, how no one came forward before now, how no worker there, you know, anyone who witnessed it, it really is a cover up and corruption. The fact that none of the, like, you can't blame the women who committed these sex favors for, for lesser time or bail or whatever. You can't blame them because they're already seeing the corruption, meaning they're now scared that should they speak up, that they're going to have repercussions happen to them. So there's nothing they can do. I've heard a few people saying, why didn't they say something? Because the freaking, what's supposed to be the law is telling them to do these type of acts in order to not be in prison. So what's supposed to be the highest authority in their county is corrupt. And for them, that's, I get why they didn't speak out. Like, how do you speak out against that? Who do you trust? Who? So you can't trust the court. You probably can't trust the police either. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that entire county needs to be cleared out. They need to clear that in. Anyone who even had a remote, like, inkling needs to be flushed out of that county, and they need to instill all new people. It's the only way to win back public trust in the legal system and the policing system. There's really not much else you can do because otherwise, if you keep people on that were around during that period, for years there's going to be innuendo and rumors that it's still going on, and hey, they got the wrong person, it was actually this person. And the best thing you can do is to try to get public, sentiment and trust back on your side. April B says serious small town corruption. It sounds like it. And the update that came out earlier today, it sounds like there was definitely more than one person involved. So it also makes it sound like that update that Trish was talking about. I didn't listen to all of it, but it almost made it seem like the reason the sheriff was so angry that maybe it wasn't the daughter as such, that maybe it was the wife. And I'm like, I've always heard it was the daughter, but I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But interesting update. We'll see. We'll see. But that case is a very awful case, and it doesn't do much for the people in the world who think that all government agencies are out to get them. There are people out there that that think that way. And these type of cases popping up in the media don't help, because every time you try to counter their argument, they're like, look what happened over here at Letcher County. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. I don't know. If I was in that county, I don't know who you could trust. Probably no one. Well, they like to think that way for sure, Lisa. All right. I'm not going to do that case because Trish already did it. But I do want to take you here. And I want to take you to MD, Capitol Heights, MD. So they say authorities in Maryland say the remains of a missing mother were found hidden behind a newly built wall in her boyfriend's home, and he's now being charged with murder. So he constructed an entirely new home and basically put her behind a wall like she's some sort of Egyptian mummy. Apparently, that's what happened. So let me play the video. Hope it'll play.
Police believe the horrible secret was hidden on the lower level of this home for nearly a week. 29-year-old Alexis Schuler was last seen in D.C. January 10th, but she wasn't reported missing until the 14th. By then, it is alleged that the father of one of her three children and off and on again boyfriend Devonte Gray had shot and killed Schuler and then hidden her body inside a plastic storage bin which he encased in cinder blocks and concrete. Police say he then concealed that crypt under a stairway behind a newly constructed wall of lumber, drywall, and faux bricks. There was a history of domestic violence with the couple, as Gray previously accused Schuler of abuse, calling police as recently as January 9th to report he was in fear and may shoot her if she entered his house. Schuler's cousin Derek today saying Schuler was the actual victim and domestic violence should not be ignored.
Alexa's story is a painful reminder that this is not what love looks like. Someone who truly loves you would never do what Devonte Gray did to her. Please take domestic violence seriously.
Can we roll with you, sir?
All right, I don't know why that just finished so early, but yeah, authorities say the remains of the missing mother were found behind that wall. You saw a little bit of it in that video. Police say Gray then concealed that makeshift tomb under a stairway behind a newly constructed wall of lumber, drywall, and faux brick in his house in Capitol Heights, Maryland. There's a photo of him. There's a photo of her. There was a history of DV with the couple, and they reckon that he'd made claims, like you heard in the video, but she'd also made claims. And it's very hard to know. Well, she's the one who ended up dead, I guess. So we have to, take that into account. But, it's hard to know whether anything he said is legitimate or not. His name is Devonte Gray. So I want to find that interview with him if I can. All right. Should be up here.
Believe the horrible.
I just want to pause this. I want to show you that this was the area right here, and it's like they've locked it as evidence. And if we scroll forward a little bit, where is it? There. So you can see where they've knocked it and ripped it here. And it was concealed under there. I don't know what kind of thinking you need to have to put a body under a stairway. But it's almost like you want to be caught. How long do you think that body, I mean, hey, they've found things, but they've found things before, right? They've found people after like 25 years and gone, oh, that's where they went. So maybe he was hoping to get away with it for a few decades, but hey, the skeletons eventually come out of the closet. And that's what happened here. They eventually figured it out. Yeah, it's like a crypt. Hey, Woman of Steel, how are you, my friend? Thank you for your membership. It came through yesterday. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Wendy R says, how would they have figured out he put her there? Does it tell us? Yeah, hold on. It just says it was found. They say Alexis was last seen January 10th in Washington, but wasn't reported missing until last week. By then, it is alleged 30-year-old Devonte Gray had shot and killed the mother of three, then hid her body inside a plastic storage bin, which he then encased in cinder block and concrete. It doesn't say how they found it, though. Yeah, it doesn't say how they located it, but just that after she was reported missing, they figured it out pretty quickly that it was over there. Thank you. I appreciate it. History of DV. That's right. There's a press conference here. I don't want to play all of it. I just want to play the first little bit. Maybe it'll have more information on how they found it.
I don't want to. There's a lot of movement going on. For assistance locating Alexis Schuler, who had been reported missing on January 14th. With the assistance of Police Chief Daryl Morgan in the Capitol Heights Police Department, the Prince George's County Police Department issued a search warrant at the home of Devontae Gray of Larchmont Avenue in Capitol Heights. While inside the house, our homicide detectives and evidence team, along with the Prince George's County Fire Department, located Ms. Schuler's remains inside a newly constructed wall. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner determined that the victim had been shot. Devontae Gray was taken into custody at the scene. During questioning, Gray confessed to murdering Ms. Schuler and was charged with first-degree murder and related charges. Gray is now in the custody of Prince George's County Department of Corrections. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victim's family and the loved ones during this difficult time. Some of the family members are here today. Last year, there were 21 domestic-related homicides in our county, indiscriminately affecting families across all demographics of race, age, and socioeconomic status. Each act of violence shatters lives, leaves behind deep pains that last for generations to come. We must speak out against this violence, especially domestic violence, that steals our safety, our feeling of safety, our security. Some of these things I talked about just last week. Crimes are not just stats to us.
So it sounds like they already had probable cause to go into the home because they were able to get a search warrant. And to get a search warrant, you have to have something. So maybe we'll hear that evidence when it goes to court. Although he made confessions to police, so we may get a guilty plea here, and we'll find out nothing about it. Sean said a makeshift tomb. Why call it that? I have no idea why they called it that. Hannah says, you know how much I hate press conferences. Let's put everyone in front of the camera. That is a lot of people. That is right. Lisa, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Can't always be here, but always replay crew. Appreciate what you do. Thank you. I hope you're having a good day at work today. Almost finishing time. Almost finishing time in about an hour. I hope you can get home quick. Actually, it's a pretty cold day here in Melbourne, so traffic should be pretty light. So, yeah. Rachel said, so maybe they noticed the new... Yeah, I'm guessing they did, although they brought... Wait. Hold on. Let me listen to this again.
Yes, Ms. Schuler, and was charged with first-degree murder and related charges. Gray is now in the custody of Prince George's County Department of Corrections. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victim's family and the loved ones during this difficult time. Some of the family members are here today. Last year, there were...
I think we went too far forward. I wonder, because they explain it like he made full and frank confessions to law enforcement. Maybe that happened before they raided the home, and that's how they knew, because they brought the fire brigade with them. And normally you only bring the fire brigade if you need something opened up. Like if you need to remove something or cut through something, like cops don't normally do that. And they sometimes bring the fire brigade to do that type of work. So
21. The Prince George's County Police Department issued a search warrant at the home of Devontae Gray of Larchmont Avenue in Capitol Heights. While inside the house, our homicide detectives and evidence team, along with the Prince George's County Fire Department, located Ms. Schuler's remains inside a newly constructed wall. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner determined that the victim had been shot. Devontae Gray was taken into custody at the scene. During questioning, Gray confessed.
Okay, all right, no. They're saying the questioning happened after they found her remains, and then he made the confessions to the crime. So I don't know. They don't explain how they knew, but it could have been something as simple as he was the love interest that she was seeing at the time. They do explain it that they were on and off again at that point in time. And he is the father to one of her children as well, being that when investigating a missing person case, we all know they start from the people closest to the missing person or the victim. And he would have been very much one of those people in the spotlight during the early investigation. So they probably just pieced it together through detective work, really. Pretty awful case to put her inside of a wall. 29-year-old Alexis Schuler. And let me see if I can find a different photo of her for you. Yeah, they've got a little bit of another one here that you guys can watch.
You can see the missing persons flyers that were posted all over the neighborhood, including directly in front of the house. Police and prosecutors say what they found inside here was traumatic and horrific. Investigators say the body of 29-year-old Alexis Schuler was found in a wall of a home on Larchmont Avenue in Capitol Heights. She was the mother of 3. The father of one of her children, Devontae Gray, is charged with shooting and killing her, then trying to hide her body inside his home. Her family spoke at a news conference this morning.
Alexis will be deeply missed, and there is a void in our family that can never be filled. Her 3 children will no longer feel their mother's embrace.
D.C. police worked with Capitol Heights and Prince George's County Police on the missing persons investigation. When police searched Gray's home, they found Schuler's body. So you saw this missing person flyers
Yes,
in the
they was on Saturday morning.
Little did you know that what had just happened.
Yes, yeah, didn't know. Oh, now everything come together connected. Yes.
Police say Gray initially denied involvement, but then allegedly told investigators he killed Schuler during a dispute.
During questioning, Gray confessed to murdering Miss Schuler.
According to charging documents, Schuler was found in a makeshift tomb under the stairs of the home, her body in a bin that was wrapped in plastic. Investigators say Gray poured concrete around the bin, placed drywall around it, then laid faux bricks on the drywall. She was found under a large amount of soil and hay.
No words that we can say, no justice that we can provide to you will be enough justice, because justice would be to have Alexis here.
Police and prosecutors say if you're in an abusive or violent relationship, you are urged to get out. There are resources available here in Prince George's County through the Family Justice.
That is a good message, that if you are in a DV type relationship and the sooner you try and get out, because they say it takes multiple attempts to eventually leave for good, that if you've never done it before, then your journey may be long, and the sooner you start that journey of breaking those chains, the better off you'll be, and hopefully you won't end up like this young lady and buried under what they say, soil, hay, encased in concrete and faux brick. Pretty sad way to go. Yeah, I don't think we're going to hear too much more either, because I'm guessing he's going to plead guilty at trial, and we're not going to hear any evidence. Wendy R said, such a dangerous time to trying to leave. That is true. It is very sad, isn't it? Let me find a nice photo of her. Here, here's another photo of her. There's quite a few. There's a few photos of her. Here's one I was able to track down of her when she was alive. And here's a different one of Alexis. Some nice photos of her. I always like to try and show the victims more than the perpetrator, because I feel like by giving the perpetrator more airtime, we're sort of giving them what they want. We're feeding their vanity and ego. But by showing you the victim, at least we are remembering them. And that's what I believe anyway. But yeah, pretty brutal. So that makeshift tomb thing came from the charging documents. It didn't come from anyone else. It came from the documents from his arrest. Yeah, let's see. What do they say here? They say MPD said detectives started investigating, conducting interviews, and gathering surveillance in an effort to find Schuler. MPD sought the help of Prince George County and Capitol Heights PD, which found that surveillance video showed Schuler going into the house on the afternoon of January 10th, but never leaving. Ta-da! There it is. That's how they knew. During a preliminary investigation, officers observed Gray in possession of construction materials that included cement, sheetrock, cinder blocks, bottle chemicals, large black storage containers, and black plastic bags. All the things for, like, your makeshift hide a body kit. The cops would have been like, oh my God, we got him. They would have known instantly that someone was trying to hide a body. They say the Prince George County PD homicide unit was contacted on Saturday. It executed a search warrant during which detectives found fresh drywall, acetone, lemon ammonia, and other construction and cleaning materials inside. Charging documents show the discovery prompted police to remove the drywall, where a makeshift tomb was discovered underneath the stairs. The charging documents revealed detectives found a bin behind drywall and fake brick and noted that a human foot was visible. They say there was a large plastic bin wrapped in plastic wrapping behind a large amount of concrete that was poured by the defendant. She, Alexis, was located under large amounts of soil and hay. The ME in Baltimore, which is conducting the autopsy, so apparently that entire bin with her remains has been taken to the chief medical examiner in Baltimore. They say so far they've determined that she was shot, but nothing further is expected to be released until the autopsy has been completed. WRC reported Gray denied involvement, but then later confessed to the crimes. Charging documents state Gray then said he placed Schuler's body in a plastic bin and tried to conceal her identity by burying her in the house. WRC reported that Gray waived his court appearance and remains in custody on 5 charges that include first and second degree murder. There you go. So there's the extra details that we we're looking for. Rachel said, yeah, that's how they find studs so quickly. Yeah, so that makes it pretty clear how they figured it out. They had CCTV of her entering a property but never leaving. That is always a pretty good giveaway, although not always, but normally it would lead to that search warrant. So they would execute that search warrant. That evidence would be the CCTV and him buying, the construction materials and the cleaning chemicals. They would put that together and say, hey, this looks like someone trying to hide a crime and that we need to get in there and have a look. But it's not a home run. If they never found the body there and couldn't find any other evidence, he would have gone free. There's been other cases where people have been seen to enter a property and then never leave, and no one's ever been charged. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a few in the UK. There's a couple in the US that I can think of. It's happened before, but they were able to find her, so very different. Jojo says burying her in the house says it all. Right. Well, I think he knew he was out of options. If he tried to remove her from the property at all, someone would notice, like neighbors or that surveillance camera. He would have got picked up. So his paranoia probably would have told him to bury her within the home, and that was probably his only option. Wendy R says he's been on a descent to some kind of mania during the past week trying to hide it. Oh, yeah, for sure. Sean says you would think he would take the body away, not in his house. No, I would say the paranoia would have got to him, and he would have said, like, if he tried to move it, he would have got found out quicker. But it doesn't matter. They tracked him down pretty quick, considering she was only reported missing last week, and they had this all sewn up in 8 days. Homicide Squad got this done in just a little over a week. That is a pretty tidy investigation. Kathy says, I knew a woman many years ago that was married to a state trooper who was DVing her. She was afraid to leave. That does happen a lot, unfortunately. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, she went in but never came out. Yep. It is pretty compelling evidence for a search warrant. So that's very unfortunate, Alexis, but at least they found out who did it. He's now in jail. Hopefully he can't hurt anyone else again, and they can, when she's released from the medical examiner, they can give her a farewell. Very, very sad. She's got multiple children who now don't have a mum, and at least one of the children now doesn't have a father either, because he's now in jail. So I hope the family has some good people that can help out and surround those children with a lot of love. Rachel said, sadly, yeah, there's a lot of children that she had. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. It could be a dog. It could be precious metals. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So there's that one. If I do hear anything more, I'll bring it to you. But right now, I don't have anything more on that one. All right, let's go to KRON or Cron 4. No, that's not what I want. Good work, Ping. Good work. Oh, fine. Fine. I'll do it the hard way. It's really not being my friend today. All right. So they're saying a man convicted of murdering 2 women in Alameda County interrupted his own sentencing hearing on Tuesday by singing in front of his victims' families. They say David Mish, 63, was convicted last month of murdering Jennifer Dewey and Michelle Xavier. The 2 young women's naked and lifeless bodies were found dumped in a remote area of Fremont in the 1980s. Yeah, I just want to see if I can do this. Yeah. They say on Tuesday, family members were reading their victim impact statements when David disrupted the proceedings by singing inside the courtroom. According to the sheriff's deputies, they then removed him from the courtroom for doing so. Prosecutors said David displayed disrespectful behavior, purposefully so that he would be thrown out. He didn't want to be there for the victim impact statements. What a sook. You're such a big man to be able to kill and leave 2 women with no clothes on in the middle of nowhere, but you're that much of a baby that you don't want to listen to the impact your crimes had on the families. I think that says more about you than anything, really. They say here the chief DA, Royal Roberts, they say David's behavior in court was not only reprehensible, but a blatant display of no remorse for taking the lives of Jennifer and Michelle. The families of these 2 young women have been waiting nearly 40 years to receive justice for their tragic and senseless murders. They say last month a jury found him guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. They say the 2 women attended a birthday party dinner together on February 2nd, 1986. Hours later, the young women were found dead by a motorcyclist along Mill Creek Road in Fremont. They had been shot and stabbed. At the time, David was a drug addict who lived in the Fremont area and was known to burglarize businesses. The case went cold for 15 years until a detective found David's DNA under, is it Jennifer's fingernail? Yeah, under Jennifer's fingernail. They say David claimed that he had seen the two young women being kidnapped at gunpoint and tried to save them. Oh yeah, that's definitely what happened. No, that's fantasy. He said he tried to save them. He used this as an explanation for the presence of DNA under her fingernail. I don't think so. I don't think so. That sounds like the biggest cop out ever. They say David's DNA and lies were presented as evidence at trial. Another piece of evidence stemmed from one of the victim's hands, which had a partial license plate number written on it. The plate matched a vehicle associated with David. I don't think you're getting out of this one. Why would they write down your license plate of the man who tried to save them from a kidnapping? I don't think they would. Apparently, he's also being linked to the disappearance of Michella Joy Garrett, a 9-year-old girl who was kidnapped from a Hayward parking lot on November 19th, 1988. There's a photo of her. They say, according to the FBI, the little girl was with her friends at the Rainbow Market when a man moved her scooter closer to his vehicle. When the young girl tried to get the scooter back, he grabbed her and drove away with her in his vehicle. She was never seen alive again. In 2020, David was charged with the girl's murder. So he also has a third murder of a little girl, not two grown women, a child. So this guy is not just a murderer of grown women. He's also with children too. Yeah. Here we go.
9-year-old Michaela Garrett disappeared in broad
Michaela, good work, Ping. Michelle. Say names properly. You have to be a professional, all right?
daylight in Hayward just before Thanksgiving in 1988. Now, just before Christmas 2020, police say they know who kidnapped and killed the little girl.
Nothing that happens to him is going to bring Michaela back. And that's the only real justice there is for me.
A mother finally getting some justice 30 years after she lost her daughter. Good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Somerville.
And I'm Julie Hayner. The suspect in this case has a long and violent criminal history. It has been more than 30 years since 9-year-old Michaela Garrett disappeared in Hayward. Today, prosecutors finally charged a convicted killer with her death. KTVU investigative reporter Henry Lee joins us now. He broke the story this morning. And Henry, you have the latest on the investigation.
Julie, Michaela's mother told me she didn't think that her daughter's killer would ever be found after all this time. And she says she is gratified that a person is now facing charges.
Authorities say the mystery over the 1988 kidnapping of 9-year-old Michaela Garrett near Hayward Market has been solved.
59-year-old David Mish has been charged with the murder of Michaela Garrett.
David Mish has long been in prison after being convicted in Alameda County of murder in 1989. He's already awaiting trial in a double homicide of 2 women in Fremont in 1986. It's a stunning development in a case that was cold for 32 years.
If you look at the they did like a sketch of a suspect in Michaela's kidnapping and eventual murder. He looks exactly like it. You know, you don't get them very often that look exactly like the person they're going to, eventually arrest for the crime. But he fits it pretty well when you see that sketch that they did.
Disappearance of Michaela Garrett is a tragic story that has gripped the Bay Area for decades.
It's been sinking in. The shock has kind of worn off, and I'm just trying to find my way in a new reality.
Michaela's mother, Sharon Murch, told me she's glad Mish has been behind bars for decades.
Nothing that happens to him is going to bring Michaela back. And that's the only real justice there is for me.
On November 19th, 1988, Michaela and her friend Katrina parked their scooters and went to get candy and soda at what was then the Rainbow Market on Mission Boulevard, now the Mission Super.
They were just kids, carefree, certainly unsuspecting of the danger that lay ahead.
After buying some items, they noticed one scooter was missing and split up to find it. Katrina looked up when she heard a scream and saw a man putting Michaela in a car. Michaela was never found, but this year, authorities say a palm print found on a scooter that had been moved matched that of Mish.
We still would like to find Michaela's remains.
Alameda County DA Nancy O'Malley says where Michaela is now is a critical question everyone wants answered.
Michaela's kidnapping devastated her family, paralyzed them with grief, and terrorized them with the unknowing of what happened to Michaela.
I would rather he tell us where Michaela is than that they try to get the death penalty.
You know, not only is that news very hard for her to hear, it's not, you know, she has more problems than, yeah, it's great to hear that they found the guy who took her daughter, but her reality is her daughter's never coming home. Her life will never be the same again, but like she doesn't have that. Like her daughter should be like 40 years old now and should be hanging out with her, you know, her mum in her older years. And, you know, they should have that daughter-mother relationship which she'll never have. And they still don't know where she is. So it's some relief to her. I get why she says that, but there's still a lot of, you know, things to sort out for that poor lady. And I think she's, you know, like she said, she'd rather just have her home. Don't worry about whatever happens to him. She just wants to be able to see her daughter again for one last time and give her a respectful burial, you know, for that kid that she brought into this world. It's very, very, very sad. 46, so she'd be almost 50. Almost 50 years old. So yeah, she should be having the time of her life with her mum. I don't think so. I don't think he'll say where she is at all. I think it's you saw what he did at the sentencing hearing where he didn't want to listen to the victim impact statement. That was him exerting what control he does have over the situation, which tells me he's one of these killers who has to have control. And his one little bit of control that he has in Michaela's case is he knows where the body is. He'll never give that up. They just never do. He will go to his deathbed never giving up her body. Not a chance. He just never will. Yeah, he will never give it up. It's the one little thing he can constantly hang over the family, authorities. It'll get him extra attention while he's in jail and in custody. Because every so often they'll try. They'll go up to him and be like, David, you know, they'll treat him real nice. They'll take him out for a cigarette. You know, they'll be like, hey, do you want to tell us anything about Michaela? You know, we spoke to you about a year ago. You said a couple of things, but we never really quite got there. Do you want to tell us about the location? No, he just never will. He seems like a control freak, especially with that court thing, not wanting to be there for the victim impact statement and forcing him to be removed from the courtroom during it. That tells you everything you need to know about that guy.
For him.
Because there is no case that deserves our attention and support more than the tragic disappearance of a child.
All very bittersweet for Michaela's mother. She tells me she has no interest talking to or seeing the defendant, but hopes that he does reveal where Michaela is now, perhaps as a bargaining chip against the death penalty. Reporting live, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
So he will never get out of jail, or shouldn't be able to. He's been sentenced.
Right now, there is a Bay Area-wide stay-at-home.
Shut up. He's been sentenced to 50 years to life for the killings of the two friends in 1989. And he's also been charged with Michaela's case in Hayward. So he'll get more years for that. So he should never see the light of day. He's 63 right now. So 50 years plus another 40 or something for Michaela. Unless he lives to be 153 and then he has to go through parole, I don't know if he's getting out. I don't think so. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I don't think he's going out, but yeah, you can see it here. The East Bay Times reported that David was singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall before he was kicked out of court. He continued to whistle from a nearby holding cell. Yeah, that tells you everything you need to know about that guy. Jojo said, this would be the news story my parents would watch alone, then sit kids down, explain why we're not allowed to be on our bikes anymore. To me, the quintessential case about like kids not riding bikes out in wherever, it's got to be Tara Calico. It has to be. That is the quintessential story of a child being abducted from, riding or whatever. To me that's the one I always remember. It's Tara. And they did. You know what's weird about that particular case? A family members of hers started a TikTok or podcast and put a lot of pressure on the authorities, which was a good thing. They said they know who killed Tara, but I don't think they've ever given an update. They just said, "Oh, when we can, we will." And that was like 2 years ago, and I don't think they've ever released anything, which is very, very strange. Hold on, let me look it up. Did they release? Yeah, someone's asking for an update here. Did they ever put anything here? Okay. Yeah, so some people are suggesting that the people who abducted Tara and killed her are all dead. But why not just say that? Why put out that loaded statement all those years ago now? Basically saying like, oh, today we can announce we know who, we know what happened to Tara, all that type of thing. Very, very odd. Yeah, let me see if I can find that press conference. Let's see if I can find it. Here. It's from a different... Wait, what date was that? 12th of August, 2023. I don't think I can use that one.
All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this very important announcement regarding the ongoing investigation into the 1988 disappearance of Tara Calico. My name is Ben Lancaski, and I am a public information officer for the Valencia County Sheriff's Office. In a moment, Sheriff V. Hill will be giving a statement. As she will also state, the details of the investigation concerning the matter we are here to talk about have been sealed by the district court. Questions will be limited to the historical investigation due to this court seal. I will make my best effort after the statement has been provided to answer as many of your questions as I can.
Don't you hate when they do that? They start a press conference and everyone's all excited. There's a big photo of the victim. Everyone's like, oh my God, after 35 years or 50 years, whatever it is, we're finally going to find out what happened to this little girl. Well, not little, she was a teenager, but we're going to find out what happened to this person that we've all been wondering about. There's been like 50 different episodes of Unsolved Mysteries made on it. And then they're like, well, this historical crime, all the details have been sealed by the court, but I'll answer as many questions as I can after we're finished. So what questions exactly are you going to answer? You're just going to answer why you can't answer the questions? Is that what you're going to do? Because I'm guessing that's what you're going to do. You're going to sit there and explain to us why you can't answer the questions that are being asked of you. It's very annoying. I know, right? It's basically, we'll answer many questions at the end of this press conference. And at the end of the press conference, they're like, I can't answer that. I'm sorry, I already told you I can't answer that. Due to it being sealed by the court, we're unable to answer that. You're right. It's so bizarre. To this day, I don't think there's been an update after this press conference. Like, nothing. There's been no... They just said it's been sealed by the court, and that's it. No one's allowed to know what happened to Tara. Yeah, it's very bizarre. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Yeah, I know. Why bother bringing all the journalists and bringing all these people dressed in the greatest, version of their uniform for the PD, and the dude in a suit, and they're wearing like a pin on their lapel. This guy's got a pin on his tie. And they go, oh, we can't tell you anything. These are not the details you are looking for. I know, and it's like, why not tell us what's going on? Like, if everyone is dead, then just tell us. Go, well, they're all dead. We'll tell you their names, but they're all deceased. There's going to be no arrest in the investigation. But at least we know what happened to Tara. Like, it's just bizarre. But yeah, no, to me, Tara is the one that I always think of. But I know there's a lot of people who think about the girl who Amber Alerts are literally named after. Is it named after? Yeah. The girl from Texas, right? Is Ping getting confused? There's a little girl that's why they did the Amber Alerts. Hold on. Right, this little girl. Amber Hagerman, that's it. Yeah, so I know a lot of people think about her. Her case is horrific. I mean, you hear the details of how they found her body in that storm drain, and what condition her remains were in. I mean, there's no wonder, but, at least the one thing that did come out of it is now we have the Amber Alert system. Hopefully that a little kid won't have to go through what Amber went through. I mean, when you hear her mother describe what happened that day, how they couldn't get news stations or TV stations to coordinate and get the right details and get the messages out far enough, they could get it out locally, but not like across the city, across the state. And now we have the Amber Alert system, which works so much better. So very sad there. It's Amber Hagerman. Wendy asks, is someone important involved in the crime? I have no idea. It's all been sealed by the court. No idea. The one with the little brother? I don't know. Is that the one with the little brother? Yeah, but I remember they did a really good documentary on this. It's called... hold on. Yeah, it's called Amber, the girl behind the alert. If you haven't watched it, it is very, very, very good. And it explains a lot of what happened that day, a lot of how the alert came to be. I thought it was pretty well done. Yeah, I can show you the thing here. So I'm probably sure like 90% of you have already watched it, but if you haven't, it is worth watching. Yeah, that is, yes. Tara Calico is... What they found were photos. They found Polaroids, and one of them they believe may have been Tara, and the other one was of a little boy. Yes, that is the right one. Yes, they found it in a parking lot. That is true. Marlene says the large highway neon signs over the freeways give information and phone bars. I know, how cool is that? I love that system. Rachel said it's a good documentary. It is. If you haven't watched it, you should. It really does delve. It deals with a lot of what happened sort of in the immediate aftermath of her going missing. And I think that's very important to understand what it was like before we had the Amber Alert. It really, really is. You see how things have changed. Lisa says, I meant Amber in an empty parking lot on bikes, little brother. Is that what it was? I can't remember. I mean, we do so many cases. I'm not sure. I just remember watching the documentary. They said she was abducted while riding her bike in Arlington, Texas. Was she with her brother? She was on a bike. Yeah, here. So Amber Renee Hageman was a 9-year-old girl abducted while riding her bike in Arlington. Her younger brother Ricky had gone home without her because Amber had wanted to stay in the parking lot for a while. So there you go. There you go. So 2 different cases of parking lots and weird things happening. But yeah, it's a really good one. Well worth the watch. It does get a little over, like, sensationalized about halfway through, but stick with it. It's worth watching. It's still worth the watch. Hold on. Hang on. Yeah, I don't think there has been any update to Tara. Yeah, it was 2023 that the Valencia County Sheriff's Office announced a breakthrough in the case, but they wouldn't tell us what the breakthrough is. They just said, "Oh, yeah, there's definitely been a breakthrough." What exactly? Oh, we can't tell you that. Can't tell you anything about it. That's it. I don't know. Will we ever find out? I don't know. Maybe one day. Let's see. Anything down here? I know her mom, Tara's mom, always believed that the photos that were found in the parking lot, the one that had the girl, she was gagged and tied up, she always believed that that was Amber, but don't know. The Scotland Yard believed it wasn't, or something, and FBI believed it was. There was very varying opinions on if it was her or not. Just trying to see if there's any update here about Tara. Yeah. The case went to the DA's office for a review about 3 months ago. We're told the team now is going through more than 3 decades worth of files to sign off on charges. They must also rule out the laundry list of other suspects who were named over the years. There's no hard timeline on when or if charges will come. That's it. So they say, we as investigators believe we have the answer. We believe we know what occurred and who is responsible. But that's it. Everything else has been sealed by the court. So if they ever bring charges, if they ever rule out everything else, if they ever bring it together enough to beat that threshold with the DA's office, the legal threshold to bring charges, we'll see. Drunk LA kid? Yeah. Candy Rogers is the one my parents and campfire leaders talked to me about as a kid. Candy Rogers. I don't know that one. Candy Rogers. Oh, that's way before Ping's time. Way before my time. Looks like your typical. So this was out of Spokane, Washington. Here's a photo of her. They say Spokane police detectives to unveil person they say is responsible for 1959 killing of Candy Rogers. Did they ever do that? Spokane detectives say they have the answer to a question that's lingered for more than 6 decades. Who killed 9-year-old Candy Rogers? They were going to hold a press conference. When was this? 2021. Well, hold on. Did they ever give up that name? Let's see. Suspect's family helps crack cold case. The police identified John Ray Hoff as a suspect and said his daughter helped them solve the case. Interesting. So that's the person they believe is responsible for Candy Rogers' disappearance. They say she was last seen selling campfire mints in Spokane, Washington in 1959. Her murder went unsolved for, many decades. There you go. Box of campfire mints found during the search in 1959. Yeah, no, I can't say I know this one, but apparently this was him. He was arrested 2 years after Candy was killed. Interesting. Yeah, this one is way out of my knowledge, but I can see why this one would have been the tale that everyone told about a little girl selling, fundraising items and then getting killed. Yeah, it's quite an old one. Law enforcement kid hit her with his car. They know who killed Tara, but they can't prove it. Are they saying that now that those charges are just not coming? That would make some sense. Othram is solving it all. Maybe, yeah. Maybe Othram can solve every crime. That would be good. What time is it, guys? Okay. Who's messaging me? Yes. Okay. All right. I want to do this one from Kathy, and then we're gonna try to get out of here a little early tonight. Where is it? Oh, I might have to redo it. But Kathy says there is a missing teenager out of Lewis County in Tennessee. So let me upload this.
We have more breaking news before we go tonight. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation needs your help finding this girl from Lewis County.
They say 17-year-old Alyssa Varney was last seen today. She was reported missing from Hohenwald. Officials say she has a medical emergency that may impair her ability to return home safely without assistance. If you see her, please let police know.
Can we roll with you, sir?
Alyssa Varney. So quite a young girl. She's 5'2", 100 pounds with blonde hair, brown eyes. She's 17 years old. Currently, no specific descriptors of clothes she might be wearing or a more precise location she may be from or in. TBI said Varney was last seen on Wednesday. She's the subject of an endangered child alert, has a medical condition that may impair her ability to return home safely without assistance. So let me see if I can find anything about Alyssa. Oh, okay. Apparently her family's spoken out as well a few hours ago.
That's right, Lydia. I just met a man who says that he is the father of 16-year-old Jocelyn Escalante. Those sliding doors to the hospital.
Alright, that's not the right story. That is so weird. Hold on, let me check that again. Yeah, they've got it tagged wrong. Sorry about that. No. Her family hasn't spoken out. I'm sorry about that. Don't know why. It seems like the news station tagged it incorrectly. Says TBI issues endangered child alert out of Hohenwald? Hohenwald. They say she's 17 years old. There's her endangered child alert. And that's it. There's no other information. No closer location. No idea what she was wearing. She's been missing since today, 22nd. So described as 5'2", 100 pounds, has blonde hair, brown eyes, last seen on Wednesday. Anything more than that? I can't tell you. They don't have any information other than that. Oh, the Australian version. How do you pronounce that? Ho and Wold. Wold. All right. I would not know how to pronounce that town if I didn't get help. Yeah, thanks Nana for letting us know. Very interesting though. Hopefully, I'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully, we get a update, maybe a good update, like the girl in the title. That would be very handy. All right, hold on. Hey, I want to thank Sean and I want to thank Marlene for those donations that came in. I really appreciate it, and Sean for contributing to the throw rug for the person who shall not be named. But I hope she enjoys it. I got an update a few hours ago saying that it arrived near her place. Let me see if it's out for delivery. No, it's at an Amazon facility near her. So hopefully she'll have it in the morning. Hopefully she survived the cold. Actually, one last thing before we go. I saw this today and I couldn't believe it. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this in, I know it does do this in Florida, but I was so shocked. It looks bonkers. Look at this.
Conditions in North Florida are slowly improving after several inches of snow and ice fell last night. Icy conditions remain on many roads and drivers are urged to use caution if they have to be out. First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris in Tallahassee with a closer look.
Hey there, good afternoon from a chilly but sunny Tallahassee. It had about 3-4 inches of snowfall overnight, and then once the snow fell, the temperature plummeted into the mid-20s, allowing everything to freeze. And just looking around, you can see on the vehicles the kind of snow melt little by little, the drops of water. And another thing here, let me just walk here. When I was broadcasting live during our morning newscast, this was solid ice, and there's still plenty of ice, but we're starting to see some water kind of breaking through. Just an indicator that that sun is clearing things out in a nice way. This road here, looking between the trees, this would be the equivalent of like a State Road 50 or a 436 in Central Florida. Obviously, there's not much traffic, but the traffic that has been going through has been predominantly the big, like here comes one, like the big, heavy pickup trucks. Spoke to one guy. He's on his way to work.
In Tallahassee, you got snow on the ground. The iguanas are going to be so unhappy. All the lizards that climb the trees are going to be falling out of trees and hitting people in the head. There's going to be iguana related injuries in Florida. There's going to be people turning up to the hospital saying, I've got a head injury, and they're going to be like, what happened? And they're like, iguana fell on my head out of a tree. Because apparently the iguanas are not used to the cold, and they sort of hibernate or freeze, and then when the temperature comes back up, they sort of reanimate, and then they can walk around again. But they fall out of trees during cold weather, and the poor dugongs are going to be very cold in the rivers. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, everyone needs a hard hat for the falling iguana epidemic. Rachel said it's wild. Snowing at the beach looks crazy, and drivers were sliding everywhere. Yeah, bonkers. The snow made it that far south to Pensacola. Yeah, isn't it bonkers? Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. And in California today, there was another fire, like another really big fire. So wear a hard hat. That's right. Yeah, it looked weird. I've never seen. I mean, I have seen it get cold in Florida before, and I think I have seen it snow in Florida, but not super often. It doesn't happen that often. But yeah, really cool. I like that. So yeah. that's it for tonight, everyone. I have to get out of here a little early tonight. I'm sorry. I did want to tell you that we're not too far away from going back to the 9 p.m. shows. We're a little over about a month away from heading back to the earlier show. So I hope everyone has enjoyed the late shows, and for the people who haven't been able to make the late shows, thank you for sticking around. And in about a month, we'll be heading back to the 9 o'clock show earlier in the night. So it's been tough on everyone, I know, but not too much longer now. Not too much longer, and we'll be back to the earlier 9 p.m. show as Australia starts to get out of their summer and we start to head into our fall. We'll be able to change the shows back a little earlier in the night for you guys. So yeah, good night, everyone. Thanks for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. We try and have some fun here, try and tell you good stories, and try to bring you cases that maybe other channels are not covering. Try to bring you things you're not going to see everywhere else, like the 50th bloody opinion on Delphi. I'm not going to do that to you. We're going to talk about interesting daily true crime here. So if that's what you're interested in, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, all right? Hey, I love you all. Good night. Be safe out there. See you later. Bye.